This woman takes off her skin and reveals her black skin every day. Following this, she runs to the mirror and starts dancing. The kid hiding is the room was scared enough to make the 5th emoji in your phone. The other day, the woman approached her 2 sons, Lucas and Elias, explaining that she was having a skin treatment to make them happy. Then she gave them a gift. At first, the twins didn't notice anything strange. However, when Lucas entered his mother's room late at night, he discovered that the skin beneath her mask was far from normal human skin. Anna broke into their room, telling them to behave and stay away from the warehouse. Yet, such warnings only increased the curiosity of the kids. On that day, Lucas and Elias sneaked into the warehouse. Lucas saw a rag stained with blood on the floor, and on the wall there were unclean bloodstains. As they left, Anna suddenly grabbed Lucas, angrily questioning his intention and pushing him to the ground. The twins were left astonished by the scene. This lady is tied on the bed, and her sons look at her with indifferent faces. They don't think she's their real mom because her eyes used to be blue. Anna says she wore contacts in that photo. Lucas doesn't believe her, so he takes out a bucket and pours water on her. He sees that she tore up his paintings, which his mother used to keep. This makes Anna cry. In the end, she only says she's really his mom, and the green contacts are in her bag. Lucas wants to look for them, but Elias says the bag is empty. He packs and gets ready to take Lucas away. Before they leave, Lucas worries Anna might make noise, so he thoughtfully puts a stinky sock in her mouth. While waiting for the bus, Lucas still feels worried and checks his mom's bag. Surprisingly, he finds the green contacts, proving Anna wasn't lying. Elias lied. Lucas quickly helps Anna untie the ropes. When Anna leads Lucas out, Elias is gone. Anna decides not to hide anymore and tells Lucas the truth.
The woman dropped her phone into the toilet and immediately became the 2nd emoji in your phone. When she went out, not a soul in sight. Even the landline had lost its signal. She stepped out only to find a colleague lying on the ground. As she tried to help him up, he suddenly jumped to his feet. She didn't see a thing and thought she was seeing things, so she quickly hid. Next thing she knew, a cart was rolling in slowly, opening its jaws wide. Witnessing this, the chick screamed and hastily jumped into the car. But before she could start it, the cart bit the door wide open. Luckily, it got stuck, so she had to open the other door and escaped. The chick stumbled her way back inside, and the cart followed her in. She quickly hid as a burly dude waved to her. The cart had already approached her. She quickly got up and ran. The 2 of them ran into the warehouse. Listening to the banging outside, the chick was on the verge of a breakdown. The cart slowly retreated from outside, and they armed themselves. As they stepped out of the warehouse, they found the cashier Mary trembling. The chick signaled her to come over, but she was utterly scared out of her wits. Suddenly, turns out the cart had climbed onto the shelf. They wanted to help, but Mary was already done for. They immediately sprinted towards the back door. Just as they opened the door, the dude's leg got caught. The chick grabbed a stick, pried open its mouth, and saved the dude. While they were making a run for it, the chick noticed a warning sign on the freight elevator. She quickly came up with a plan, helped the dude to the side, and then opened the elevator door. By now, the cart had broken free from the stick, and the chick hopped onto the car. The dude shouted loudly, and the cart headed their way. The chick quickly jumped off, but the door just wouldn't budge. She grabbed a chainsaw, sawed open its mouth, and then closed the door, hitting the switch. Finally, they dealt with that monster, but suddenly, shouts echoed from outside. Turns out, all the carts had turned into monsters, attacking humans. At that moment, the chick's anger skyrocketed instantly. Out in the sand, there's a monster. The woman, completely clueless, steps right on it, only to find herself stuck tight as a drum, unable to break free. A man tries to play the hero, but he barely gets a couple of steps before the sand grabs hold of him, sending him tumbling down hard. He yells for help, but the sand swallows him up fast. Panic sets in among the others. Then along comes Emma, cautiously reaching out her hand. Something strange happens. Countless thin threads start wiggling out of the sand, following her hand's movements. Emma gets an idea, grabs a sausage, and hurls it far away. Next thing you know, the sand gobbles it up, but the sausage thrown the other way survives. Turns out, shifting to the other side is the ticket out. Seeing this, Tom decides to use surfboards to get across. Just as he's about to make it, the board starts moving on its own. Tom slips, luckily catching himself, but then countless threads emerge from the sand. While he struggles, threads attack his belly like crazy. At the brink, he leaps onto the board with all his might, narrowly escaping, but his belly's torn up bad, bleeding like a stuck pig, and the pain knocks him out. The chubby guy urges them to call the police, but the phones are in the trunk from last night's party. Blonde girl takes a risky call and steps on the bumper, hand holding onto her friend, other hand fishing keys into the car. But as she opens the trunk, her leg blocks it. A passing police car startles her and makes she fall. Her fingers are caught in mix, screaming in pain. Everyone's scared the cops will drive off, shouting for his attention and warning of the sand monster. But the cop doesn't buy it at all and steps out. Luckily, wearing shoes keeps him safe from the monster, but suddenly, his keys fall out. As he bends to pick them up, the sand grabs him tight. As the man reaches for the keys, sand holds him so tight that he can't yank it out. Slowly, the sand swallows up half of his arm until he pulls out his pepper spray, and the monster finally lets go. Yet his arm's been bitten off. With a painful scream, he collapses and becomes the monster's afternoon snack. At this critical moment, a man thinks of wrapping towels around his feet, makeshift shoes to step on sand. The woman in the car tosses him a towel, but just as he catches it, he slips and takes a nasty fall. Countless tentacles crawl over him, and in less than a minute, he's completely swallowed by the sand, leaving only bloodstains.
This poor woman got invited by her so-called friends for a swim, but they slapped a fishing net over her head and started calling her giant pigfish. Then, they totally went wild, laughing their heads off. The woman's so scared that she doesn't even notice a tied-up person underwater. When she finally came up for air, her friends had swiped all her clothes. She had to beg for a lousy towel, but that heartless jerk still took it away, leaving her nearly naked. Now, she's running back home in her birthday suit. On the way, she spots her friend crawling on the ground, bleeding. Scared out of her mind, she acts like she didn't see a thing and just keeps running. Suddenly, the car blocks her path, and her friend starts banging on the window, begging for help. The man in the car stares at her. The poor woman's pissing herself, fearing the worst, but then the man throws a towel on the ground. She thanks him in surprise, while he drives off, leaving her friend howling in the dust.
The girl bent down to grab a pen, and then a school bus split in two, with their bus doing the same. All her friends were cut in half at the same time. She was scared enough to make the fourth emoji on your phone. She tried to run, and saw 4 people. She shouted at them to get down. Just in time, she saved one girl while the others tragically lost their heads. She had to keep running. She reached a lake and found her classmates' lifeless bodies. She changed into clean clothes, washed away the blood, and continued towards the school. But at the school, she was utterly confused. The classmates she thought were gone were somehow alive. She felt lost and couldn't understand what was happening. Worried about her, her friends decided to skip class with her. The girl saw a pillow, feeling weird, and tried to get it, but suddenly, the teacher took out a machine gun. All the students rushed and hid in a classroom. The teacher came in with a spray bottle and an M4 rifle. One girl begged for mercy but got shot into a sieve, while others also getting shot. The girl had to keep running until she reached a police station. She dragged the policeman to come outside only to see nothing. Suddenly, the policeman recognized her and called her another name. She was perplexed and looked in a mirror. Oh my God, she saw a different face. More oddly, the police told her it was her wedding day. They put her in a police car, and a crowd gathered cheering up. They took her to a church where she encountered her classmate Lily. Lily warned her it was dangerous here and gave her half a bottle. So when the wedding began, the bride held half a bottle instead of flowers. The atmosphere suddenly turned bizarre. People began insulting and throwing things at the girl. The groom was inside a coffin, and when she opened it, she found a terrifying pig's head.